Oh, we're already in. That was a bit of a late start. Anyways, hello everyone, and welcome to Formula 2 here tonight. We are here at the Canadian Grand Prix. You have 3 DRS zones, and oh, well, somebody's already invalidated. Yeah, I was immediately gonna say the track limits are gonna be crucial around here. But yeah, 3 DRS zones, and well, it's a very, very fast track. You can see plenty of overtaking around here. We'll have to wait and see, but right now they're getting on to qualifying. They have 14 corners to negotiate here. So let's see who can be the one to take pole position. Port would really be the one to be the favorite around here. We'll have to see if he can do exactly that. Your host here is Miniko. Sorry that was a little bit scuffed, but yep, your host here is Miniko, and alongside me is Ron. Ron, how you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm glad to be back seeing F2 for the second time in my commentating career. And it's going to be a fun one. We got that amazing championship battle between Unsighted Port and Taylor. That's oh so spicy. This is going to be the first time I get to see both of them battle together. And Luciano invalidated on the final corner. That was upsetting.
So that ideally means that now Unsighted Port is the one to take pole position here in F2. He's actually got a lot of pole positions. Talk us through that.
Yeah, he's had a lot of great pole positions, and honestly, watching him last week for the first time, he put on a master class of a race. I know he wanted to win both of them, but he basically did everything. He got driver of the day twice, and Unsighted Port was just sorry. I thought you mentioned Taylor Clan. Oh no, I apologize. I can't actually say anything about Unsighted Port. I haven't got to watch him. I was praising Taylor Clan right there, as you know, but he put on an amazing race, and it was great to watch. So seeing that Unsighted Port had that big of a points lead, I can't wait to watch to see if he dominates this race. He got pole position, and that's 4 points right there, so it's looking very good for him.
And straight off the bat with those 4 points, he's actually tied now with Taylor in the championship. I was about to
That
discuss
didn't
that
take long.
last week with Taylor getting a double podium, first and second. He was able to get ahead of Port in the championship by just 4 points. But Port has already diminished that, so now they are level on points, and they're actually level on race wins. But Port technically has the championship lead for the time being due to the fact that he has more P2 finishes, I believe. Actually, no, it'd be Taylor, actually. I'm sorry. Taylor actually has four second place finishes, so ideally he's still in the lead. But anything can change around here. And, well, as you can clearly see, it's dry.
Yeah. And then the absence of Deer Hunter isn't that good, but Ferrari Nut is here, I believe. No, yes, he is. He qualified second. He's third in the standings, so he's going to be looking for a very good race, and I'm hoping that he'll be able to challenge the top two in points and make it a lot more interesting. But sadly, both Deer Hunter in fourth and DeBees in fifth are not here. If I'm correct. Yeah, I do not see him. The next person in the points who is here is in sixth place, and that's Willica, who started racing in Monaco.
Yeah, Wilka having a decent season so far despite starting in Monaco. Every single race he started, he has finished in the points. Let's see if he can do more of that and maybe possibly get his first ever Formula 2 podium. There's still a long way to go, as you can see. There is 20 laps for them to negotiate. And as for tire strategy, everyone on the softs. And remember, this is the feature race, for those that do not know. So in the feature race, you have to pit. It is basically mandatory, so if you do not pit, you will be disqualified. It will not be the same, however, in the sprint race, which is right after, so don't tune out after the feature race is done. There's still plenty more racing to go.
And the main passing zones on this track, you're going to be looking at turn 1 especially. That's going to be the main one, coming out of the second DRS zone, or the first, if you consider it. I consider it the second for the straight before going past the wall of champions. But that's going to be a main passing zone, especially the turns, if I'm correct, 13 and 14. That's going to be a passing zone for the final DRS zone, or the first. I call it the first. But and there's going to be barely any passing in a lot of places. Very difficult to pass without going and making wheel-to-wheel contact. Maybe turn 8, I doubt it. Maybe turn 6. There's a lot of maybes around this track. Too many.
We shall see, but now everyone on the grid is forming up. Gary, who's going to line up in P11 and last. I think we have more drivers this race than last race, but now we are going on to the start of the race. Just waiting for the 5 red lights.
I think my game broke. Maybe.
You're not
maybe.
the only person.
It made a very loud noise.
This may be a little while. I'm not sure. Maybe the game has broke.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure.
It is. It's currently frozen for me. For me, it says Willika's first for some reason, and no one on the grid is moving. That's not good.
I think we might have
you
to
seen
do
anything in
lobby restart.
the tier chat?
I'm currently watching for that for the time being, so
that's not good.
Yeah,
if they're
we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think we. Oh, okay. Thank you, Valkyrie, in the chat. Valkyrie saying that Wilka is actually the one who is causing the issue. Yeah, and there we go. So Wilka's left. 5 red lights are on. Yeah, lights out, and away we go. Decent start for the front two. Actually, Brian gets a really great start. Port once again bogs down. That's not what he wanted. Taylor's now into P2, and the Trident is now challenging Port, trying to go around the outside. Yeah, there's a bit of contact at the back. I'm not sure if there's front wing damage.
Big stack of Valkyrie got very loose, nearly spun, getting back on the throttle and collected a couple of cars. I'm trying to see if anyone has wing damage in the back. A lot of people going through each other, actually.
Port is now already ahead of Taylor, so despite that bad start, he manages to jump up into P2. But look at the gap already between Ferrari Nut and Port. It's 1.1. So that's not the start Port would have wanted. It is the dream start for Ferrari Nut, as he is not within the DRS range. But we shall see if that will stay the same. Bit of position switching at the back. Days Freak is now down in P11. MRA Aiden, who I think debuts? I'm not entirely sure. I may have missed out on that. He dives down the inside of Wilka into the hairpin, and he makes the move done. And now it's up into P8. Days Freak is now getting ahead of Gary up into P10 and into the points. But Ferrari Nut started P2. He is now leading this Grand Prix ahead of Port and Taylor Klein. Once again, the 2 Unite Virtuosis on the podium. Then it's Drunken Shamrock in a surprise P4. Right behind is Luciano. Then a little bit ways away is Valkyrie in P6 ahead of Sad Wizard. Then comes Aiden, Wilka, and then Gary. But yeah, really a big gainer out of all this, Ferrari Nut.
You are correct about that debut. I believe you're talking about MRA Aiden. He is on his debut. And that was a very interesting start. And Valkyrie's under a ton of pressure from the back 2 cars, being both Aiden and Sad Wizard. He had a lot of moments on that first lap. Hopefully he can get it back together, because he is holding up the pack, and it's obvious. Luciano in 5th is a very long ways ahead. I got to check for the gap. It's already 3 seconds above, almost 4 now.
Yeah, Valkyrie not quite to the pace of Luciano, but still holding firm in P6 for the time being. Sad Wizard, though, like you said, right on the back. Is he going to try and go down the inside of the hairpin? Yes, he does. A very late move from the ART. He was on the inside. Doesn't get the traction over Valkyrie. It looks like they got the same amount of traction. Now they're wheel to wheel on the Casino Straight.
Will he try to make it 3 wide?
Yeah, Aiden's is looking a little bit interesting. Can he possibly make it 3 wide? I think he's going to stick behind for the time being, but Sad Wizard has the inside for the final chicane. Oh, bit of contact.
That's probably a warning.
Cuts the corner a little bit, and there's still a little bit wheel to wheel.
Aiden's going for the move now.
And Aiden, yeah, you're right. Aiden is now going to try and go around the outside of Valkyrie. Valkyrie covers it off, though.
He overshoots
Aiden. Oh, he's going to try and go around the outside of turn 3. What a move!
He got them both. That was amazing. Oh, Sad Wizard overshot the braking zone and went right off the track. That's a warning there for him.
Yeah, but Aiden, what a move from him. Around the outside of 2 cars at that corner and makes his way up into P6. He's going to try and chase after the high tech, Valkyrie's
Luciano,
but Oh yeah, no, he's not. He's within the
Ooh,
DRS.
he might be going for a move here.
3-second time penalty for
He
Luciano. Oh yeah, he is.
Backed out of it, he
Doesn't
thought
quite
better.
make it happen though. Gary's now got ahead of Sad Wizard up into P8. So Gary, despite having not the best of starts, he has managed to climb his way up the field and now is sitting in provisional pole position for the sprint race. But it's only lap 3, so we'll have to see how that goes. Meanwhile, at the front, the top 4 just pulling away from everyone. Varna leading a bit of a train at the time being between himself and the two sorry, no, not high-techs. Unite Virtuosis. Port looking a little interested though. He has that DRS. Is it gonna be enough? No, he doesn't.
And speaking of pulling away, the top 3 are pulling away from 4th and 5th. Drunken Shamrock is falling back while Luciano with that 3 seconds is trying to pass him, but both of them are looking extremely loose. Meanwhile, the battle for 6th through 9th is still neck and neck.
Yep, especially 7th and 8th for the time being. Gary right on the back of Valkyrie at the time being. Gary, who's shown decent amount of pace. Ooh, Valkyrie got really squirrely there. And Gary's on the inside all of a sudden. So Gary is capitalized on that mistake on the camp boss and now is up into P7. Going to try and chase after MRA Aiden. That was bold, and yet he has made it work.
These moves
But talking about... yeah, but talking about Luciano with that 3-second, time penalties are going to be the main factor around here because, especially around the final chicane, as Farina goes really wide there, yellow flag, and that is Sad Wizard.
I think I believe he spun it.
Yeah, he has spun on turn 9. That allows Days Freak to now go up into P10 into the points. But going back to time penalty situation, that's really going to be the big factor in this race. Exactly what I mean. Both Taylor and Port getting a penalty on the final chicane. The final chicane is really going to be the big factor because if you get that wrong and get a time penalty, that could cost you a lot because time penalties are going to be very crucial as to how this race is going to go.
Yeah, it's not looking good. If at this point, Ferrari now just needs to keep it calm and cool, not get any more warnings than he needs to. And at this point, Taylor Clan should be completely focused on not only building a 3-second gap to Drunken Shamrock, but I believe overcutting, undercutting in the pits, and undercutting his teammate because, well, he's going to have to wait a whole pit stop anyways because they're from the same team. They have the same pit stall, so that's going to hurt him tremendously if he doesn't go in early.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see as to whether when they will pit. I am not entirely sure. It's really down to how the driver will feel. Those softs, though, they don't look too bad, to be fair, so maybe he can stick it out for a little bit longer. That's going to be the main factor as to who can get an undercut. Yellow flag, and that's Luciano. Luciano's backwards on the exit of the hairpin. He has lost a lot of time now and is down to P8 from what was right behind the trident of Drunken Shamrock, so that has not gone well for the high-tech. He's still running, though, but Wilka's now looking interested on Luciano. Emery Aiden now getting a 3-second time penalty. Wilka going to try and go on the inside. No, he doesn't. And Luciano actually pits, which is, I suppose, might be for a front wing change.
Mild.
It has not gone well for the high-tech.
Yeah, it's actually going well for a lot of people. I didn't expect it to go well. Mainly, both Aiden, as this is his debut, he's having a fantastic race. Sadly, just got 3-second. But Valkyrie, he has actually only finished one race, and that was the feature race in Azerbaijan, where he finished 10th. Every other start he's had, he has DNF'd, and I hope that's not him. Oh, that is Taylor Clan.
Oh! Yeah, that is Taylor Clan. You're right. He spun on the exit of, I think that might be 8.
Yes, I believe you were correct.
I'm not entirely sure.
Yes.
But that has lost him a lot of time. He might gamble going into the pits.
Oh,
we'll have to wait and see.
3 seconds.
Valkyrie getting a 3-second time penalty. Again, the time penalty is just
Should've
racking up
never
more and more. And it's
spoken.
only lap 6. But one thing I actually noticed is Luciano. He's on super softs.
Oh, that's interesting. Unsighted Port almost went for a move there. He might go for a move. No, wow, there's not a lot of speed in that first DRS zone now, is there? He was very close coming out of the Wall of Champions. Turn 13, I believe, or turn 12. No, sorry, turn 14. And he lost all of that time so quickly. I was shocked by that.
Yep. Yep, and DRS obviously not being as crucial really, or as powerful as it is in Formula 1 due to the fact that these cars, they don't exactly have a giant rear wing. Not only that, but also is just, it can be hard to overtake. Speaking of overtaking, Taylor Klein has now got past Drunken Shamrock into turn 6 and is now back up into P3. Has a little bit of a snap though, has 2 snaps actually.
He's gonna come back?
Shamrock is probably gonna look interested. Yet he's definitely looking, but he stays behind for the time being. And now Taylor is back up in the podium places.
They're both quite
and
loose.
Port, though, he's still very close to the high tech. Actually, I think Ferrari made a little bit of a mistake there. Port was looking really interested on the exit of the hairpin, but now going into the casino straight, Port, again, has the DRS. He is pretty close. He could gamble for a move, you know. Yes, he is. They're now going wheel to wheel. Port has the inside.
Will he fight it?
And
no.
No, he doesn't. So, unsighted Port is now back up into the lead of this Grand Prix. Can Ferrari, though, get the slipstream and possibly make a move into turn 1? No, he doesn't, so he stays behind for the time being. I think Ferrari Nut, if I'm being honest, Ferrari Nut might actually be just taking his time. Yeah, fastest lap there
on
for Emery Aiden.
Old softs.
Yeah, so that is a very good lap time from the Carlin driver, as he now has the fastest lap and 2 more points to his name. Remember, 2 points is how many you will get for getting the fastest lap compared to F1. But yeah, it's really a question as to whether he can keep it.
Now, do you think they're going long, or do you think they're going for those the super softs, or do you think they're going to go for mediums? Because the way it's looking, I think super softs is the strategy.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that, because Formula 2, they only have 2 tire compounds to use, and since they're on softs, speaking of
that fastest lap.
Speaking of of tires and stuff, Luciano on those super softs sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but he's not in the points, so it will not count. But yeah, I was definitely thinking about that, because if the super softs are the next allocated tire, I suspect that they will go long. So
double
it's really
penalty.
a gamble as to who can really time it right.
Yeah, and it's the graphic is looking very interesting if you look at the penalties. Every other car has a penalty. Oh, almost.
But you say that, you had a bit of a position change. Now Aiden and Shamrock are right on the back of Taylor, but yeah, Taylor though is still staying in P3. Aiden, I don't know where he's come from, but Aiden suddenly has found a lot of pace, and he's right on the back of the Uni Virtuosi driver, trying to challenge for P3 on the track, that is. We'll see if Shamrock can get a penalty, or if Taylor ahead of him can get a bigger penalty. It's possibly 6 seconds. We'll have to wait and see, but Aiden's found a lot of pace, surprisingly, and he's challenging for a podium now.
It's great to see for a first debut driver. Let's hope he does get a podium. That would be a great way to show off his first race and to show that maybe, just maybe, oh no.
Yellow flag, virtual safety car.
What? For a sec I thought that was, I do not know who that is for.
I am not entirely sure. I saw a bit of commotion at the back. I was thinking it might have been Valkyrie and Wilka, but it looks like they have kept it clean, so I'm not 100% sure what that will be. I don't suspect that anyone will be gambling to go into the pits just yet. It's only lap 9, and the next tire is these super softs.
Nope. Unsighted Port decides not to. Actually, Ferrari Nut is very far off unsighted Port now. He has no front wing.
Oh, wait! Oh, so that might have been what happened.
And he did not pit. Very interesting.
That is interesting.
Maybe he's hoping to make this lap. He's hoping this virtual safety car lasts long, and he can make it.
Possibly.
He better hope it does. Because guess who's already on him? Taylor Clan is very close now.
It's interesting that he didn't pit, though, because although the downforce in Formula 2 when you lose your front wing isn't as significant as it is in Formula 1, not having a front wing, that can still make a huge impact, so it's interesting.
Praying that he could get to the pits before the virtual safety car ends, because that would actually help him a lot. And there it goes,
as you
sadly.
say it.
He's half a lap. I gotta stop saying things. But he's half a lap away from the pits. He's got to race there as cleanly and as fast as he can possibly do it. And into the wall he goes, because he's looking to put those super softs on with at least just have to do 10 laps. That's what I think he's looking for right now. That's all he can do.
That's going to be very difficult for him to do. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah. I guess the big commotion out of all that was I think Port and Ferrari might
He
have
made
collided
it.
because they were
He
way out.
actually has a bigger gap than what happened. He had 3-second gap under that safety car. Now it is a 5-second.
Ferrari still
Because
stays
they're
out.
battling. Here goes Aiden. Sorry, I almost said Shamrock. He does
Ooh,
pass Taylor
yeah.
Clan.
That puts Aiden now up
And
into
Ferrari
the
stayed
podium
out
place.
again.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the decision is going on there, but Aiden now up into P3. Ferrari not really surprising us here, if anything. He is
Simon's not
losing quite a
pulling
bit of time to
away.
Port.
Not as fast as I thought he should.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I gotta stop talking. Gosh.
It's
Oh,
an interesting
that's not
call. Taylor gets a 3-second time penalty that now adds up to 6 seconds, but it's a weird call, the fact that he decided to stay out.
good.
Because
Unsighted.
if anyone doesn't have a front wing, you suspect that they go in.
And this race is going terrible for the two people I was hoping it would go well for. It's looking like Unsighted Port is going to come out here with the championship lead, at least for this first race. We do still have a very nice sprint race coming up. And the way these softs are working, I think the softs are going to go all the way. Ooh, a little lock up there for Aiden.
Yeah, Aiden now catching up to the back of Ferrari Nut, unsurprisingly, due to the fact that Ferrari Nut, he undoubtedly has to pit at some point. He's losing a lot of time and doesn't have a front wing. He's basically looking like a needle right now.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, there he goes.
There he goes.
Yep, he is finally into the pits after a, I would say, a bit of a weird call, staying out a little bit longer.
Too late there. Yeah. I think, well, he may even ruin his gap. He's probably hoping to come out ahead of Valkyrie, but staying that long, he may not. So far, no one else has decided to pit.
Yeah, but he is into the pits ideally.
Oh, yeah,
in
no,
the
Val,
technically
they're gonna be
silver
ahead
high
of
tech.
He's going to come out behind the Sad Wizard. But ahead of Luciano.
The question is, though, as to what he can do on those super softs. Because despite him having that front wing change, being on a different tire, that can make a huge difference on how this race goes for him. So he was provisionally running P2. He lost a lot of time through the pit stop, but he still gained that time back.
You got to keep in mind, the people he's racing, you just got to keep it nice, easy. Don't take any risks, please, because everyone he's racing has a 3-second time penalty. He was about, I think, 7 seconds off when he finally pitted from Unsighted Port. He could get a lot of that back right now from this undercut. And let's see if Unsighted Port's pitting. No, he does not. He stays out. So he needs to get the wing damage repair time. He needs to get that back. And the 7 seconds he lost. He just needs to get
in the pits, though.
3. Oh, well, I didn't want to know. Won't lie to you. That's upsetting.
In an unfortunate way of me telling you, Aiden is into the pits, but a 5-second time penalty has been added for speeding in the pit lane, so it's not gone well for the Carlin driver. You'll see what he can do, though.
That helps Ferrari.
He's bolted onto the super softs. Unsurprisingly, see if he can stretch it from lap 13 onto the end of this race. He should be able to. We'll have to find out. But Aiden, where will he come out in comparison? Oh, Ferrari Nut. You said about him not wanting to get a time penalty. He has one now.
Why do I talk?
Commentator's curse in full effect.
It's all over the place,
how it feels.
Man.
It happens, but yeah, Ferrari Nut now getting his first time penalty. A lot of people actually. A lot of people with time
inside of
penalties
him, going through him, the Sad Wizard is going through Wilka. I thought he slammed in the back of him, but no, he actually went inside of him.
I think Wilka
Very
is
nice
still
move.
not in this Grand Prix.
Oh, he isn't?
So that could be why.
Oh my gosh, that makes me feel dumb. I thought he, I didn't know he left. I thought he finally loaded in. I apologize.
Well, he left that when
I didn't get the the notification.
I guess he never joined back. Meanwhile,
oh, we probably should have
invited him. It's a bit of a battle.
Him.
Oh, Shamrock gets a 5-second time penalty. Actually, there's a bunch of people in the pits. I was going over to Aiden. There's now a bunch of people in the pits. Taylor and Shamrock are into the pits. Taylor going to try and go for a possible undercut on his teammate on those super softs. It's going to take a little bit for his tires to warm up.
Shamrock had a wing change and 5-second penalty. This hurts.
That's not gone well for Shamrock. Yeah, it really does. and now he is relegated down
Look
to
at,
P8, now P9,
Valkyrie,
because
P4.
Ferrari is ahead. Speaking of Ferrari, he is now set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 1:19.5. As to whether that will stay, we'll have to wait and see. That is really the one to look out for, and to steal that time penalty. I mean, sorry, not time penalty. Fastest lap is Port, who still stayed out for the time being. So we'll have to see. And also, the battle in P2, well, look who's in front. Aiden, with that undercut, he is still ahead of Taylor, and by quite a decent gap, actually. 2.4, 2.3. And Taylor, though, he's trying to make a move on the Campos of Valkyrie. But wait a minute. Taylor has front wing damage.
Oh.
What's happened there?
Well, I can tell you what I think happened.
Might have collided with Valkyrie, you think?
And I don't think, I won't say, but I do think that's probably what happened. Valkyrie is a slower car. I was hoping, I was trying to mention earlier, I was going to congratulate him for being P4 and hope that he stays out of the way of these other guys. He's not racing them right now. I don't think that's what happened. Either that or there was a prior incident. But that's not good for Taylor at all. He's going to have a frustrating, and there's Valkyrie for another 3 seconds, but he's going to have a frustrating rest of the race, that's for sure.
Yeah, by the way, if you didn't notice, Port was actually in the pits, but he has stayed clear of Aiden.
We have a lap car
P1
of
Daz
Freak has been lapped.
Yes. Yes, he is the first person to be lapped.
If we look at this right now, Taylor Clan is about 9-10 seconds off of unsighted Port. How long does it take to do a pit stop for here? He has caught him quite a bit, honestly. I don't think 10 seconds is a big enough gap.
Actually pitted.
Oh, Port did? He pitted?
Yeah, he pitted. He stayed out in front,
Look at me go.
And he is now
Look
on the
at
super
me
sauce.
go.
I mentioned it earlier. I guess he didn't hear me, but yeah, he has
probably
pitted
looking
and
at the
he
track
stayed
map.
in the lead. But the podium, as it stands for the time being, is Port, Aiden, and on his debut, he's on the podium right now. But he does have 8 seconds, so he'll need to build a bit of a gap. He needs 2 seconds over
has it right
Taylor
now.
Clan. Yes, he does.
Ooh.
And, well, speaking of time penalties, once again.
Well, I was going to say
Port
3
now
seconds.
gets a 3 second.
Great cushion. Not anymore. The person with the great cushion right now is Ferrari. Right now, he's actually ahead of Valkyrie, who I don't think has pitted yet. And he has pitted.
No, he hasn't. Yep, but he has pitted now and is no doubt going to go onto the super softs. Doesn't have a front wing change, so he is good to go.
Ferrari
that
still has a chance, I think. At least to get P2. He just needs to... I shouldn't say anything. He needs to go fast. Go fast.
He just needs to push as hard as he possibly can. We all know that he definitely has the pace. I mean, he is not too far behind in the championship standings compared to the two he is fighting, such as Port and Taylor. So see if he can possibly try and catch up to the cars in front of him, because he needs to be within... Oh, no. Well, now Aiden has to push as well, because due to 11 seconds, he needs a 5-second buffer now to Taylor, and right now it's nowhere near, and I think Taylor may be either gaining
and an 8 second
or possibly keeping
to
it
Ferrari
stationary.
now.
Yeah, so he's not having a good time, but he's still running in P2 for the time being. We'll have to see if that can stay the way it is. He's just going to have to absolutely send it, as does Ferrari Nut, who is gaining a little bit on Taylor. But I'm not sure if it's going to be enough just yet. Another time penalty dished out.
I even thought
Days Freak.
I was about to congratulate them. I was going to congratulate Days Freak, Wilka, and
Just
Gary
don't do anything.
on not having any penalties. I thought about it. I was getting ready to say it, and oh my gosh. Not having a good day-to-day as a commentator, but honestly, this has been a great race to watch, especially for tomorrow. At least I know what to expect. A lot of penalties, and it's not going to be fun, but honestly, they're putting on a great show.
Thing as it was last season. Last season, a lot of people in every single tier, not just Formula 2, but also every single tier, everyone at least either had a 3-second or even more, because that's just how the track is. You extend just the tiniest a bit, especially in the final chicane, you will get a penalty for it. And so far, everyone except for 2 for the time being. I'm not going to mention who, or else they will get it. But
it's too late.
Yeah, everyone's just having a time penalty.
They're next. It's too late.
Yeah, for the time being, though, everything just kind of staying stationary for a while. And, well, the gaps are kind of staying consistent for the time being. Port sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix with a 19.3. He has the fastest lap by only a couple hundredths, actually. So if Aiden could push as hard as he could possibly try and challenge that. We'll have to find out. But so far, Port adding not only 4 points, but also 2 more to his 25. So at the moment, he's gaining 31 points compared to Taylor's 15. That's more than double.
Oh, this is not good. Hopefully, at least for Taylor's sake, he doesn't do exactly what he did last time. What Taylor did last time when Unsighted Port wasn't here. Because if he ends up winning all these races, and that is a yellow flag, I think that is Valkyrie. And it is.
Yes, it is. Spun off the exit of the final chicane. I suppose maybe hit the wall.
He has
does
left
have front
and
wing
right.
damage.
Left and right. And where is he going? Left and right. So it's even.
I'm not sure, but yeah, Valkyrie does have damage. Is still in the points, but only 1 point.
He can pit.
But, yeah.
But you wouldn't wanna.
He can pit and get ahead of Dave's Freak easily, but just as to whether he'll challenge for the fastest lap, I'm not sure.
You need those tires. I wouldn't want to, waste the tires, because if there's any sort of a safety car or any reason to pit for the sprint race, he's not going to have a fun time on those used tires. I think he should just take it calm, take the P10, and go on to the sprint race.
Oh,
especially within another 30 seconds.
I gotta watch that.
The closest battle is Gary and Luciano. Thank you for giving us some nice racing, Gary. Let's see if you can get it.
Yeah, the final couple laps of this Grand Prix, Gary has now caught up to Luciano, like you said.
He has him anyways, though.
Yeah, but he might want to get it on track. We shall see, because you can get the position in terms of time penalties. But I think the greater feeling is getting it on track.
He wants to pass.
We'll see if
to get.
Oh yeah,
Shamrock.
he is really pushing it, and
that
Luciano
helps him more. I
pushing
guess.
it a bit too much.
He wants to pass him to get to Shamrock. He needs. Well, he has 5 seconds. He actually has it right now, does he not?
Yes,
well,
he
yes,
does.
he does.
5 seconds between.
Easily.
Yeah, 5 seconds between Shamrock and Luciano, and Gary is passed.
Oh.
So there you have it.
A little too much grass.
Gary, who was behind Luciano, now ahead and is within the 8 seconds of Shamrock. All Gary needs to do is do a spoken thing that I shall not speak of. And we are on the final lap of this Grand Prix. Port, actually, wait a minute. I just noticed. Port has front wing damage too.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I wonder what's happened there.
I'm probably pushing it a little too hard for that fastest lap, but in the end, Aiden can catch him all he wants. 11 seconds, that's going to be hard. He's going to have to do something major to lose all that. Hint, hint.
Yeah, but for the time being, speaking of Aiden,
let's get the commentator's
like
curse going.
Yeah, speaking of Aiden, look at the gap between him and Taylor. That is super close, and that is outside of the margin in which Aiden needs. So he is in the box seat for provisional
by
P,
0.1 now.
P2 possibly.
Taylor is ripping his hair out right now.
It's going to be very close. We'll have to wait and find out. But one thing that will definitely not be close is the win
He's
here.
got third, though. Ferrari Nut is 5 seconds back. He needs to be within 3.0 if he wants to take that. But
yeah, so despite Ferrari Nut's mistake, he can still get a podium. He can still get P2 around here. We'll have to see if he can hold it now. But one thing that will definitely be held no matter what happens is going to be the win. And Port is going to be the one to take the win here in Canada. He takes the feature race and takes a crucial advantage in the championship fight.
You gonna get him? I don't think so. 0.4? No, he does not.
4 tenths between it. Look at Ferrari Nut, though. He is at P4. Where does he jump up? He doesn't.
No, he needed 3 seconds, and he was 5 seconds back. Gary's gonna get P5.
Ferrari Nut once again getting another P4. Still some decent points, but that's not what he would have wanted. He would have wanted a podium or even the win. Shamrock and Gary finished 5th and 6th. One trident ahead of the other. Luciano gonna finish in P7 ahead of the ART of the Sad Wizard, who actually had a 5-second time penalty for unserved penalty. I'm not sure what's going on there. Wilka's AI, basically.
Get
will get
him.
technically P8. But, yeah, due to the fact it's an AI, I'm not sure if that'll count. Valkyrie's going to be the last one to cross the line, sitting in P10. Days Freak will finish P11.
Very interesting race, and the fastest lap goes to unsighted port, of course, and that's going to help him a lot, especially with Taylor Clan finishing third and not second. That hurt him. He's going to regret that .4 for quite some time, I believe.
We shall see. It's still kind of early days, but usually a crucial championship advantage is what you want. And that's exactly what Port has just got out of this. Despite missing out in Baku, he diminished the gap in qualifying. And he's extended his gap to, I believe, 16 points now, ahead of his championship rival and teammate, Taylor Clan, by getting the win and the fastest lap.
A 20-point gain, really?
Yeah, 12-point gain, actually.
Yeah, because
No,
wasn't Taylor 4 points ahead going into this race?
Yes, you're correct. So
he got that
he
back
will
with
gain
qualifying.
12 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll gain 12 points ahead of Taylor and take the championship lead back.
Ooh,
after
the sad
missing
wizard
race.
left.
Not sure what's up there. But, yeah, Port taking the win here in Canada for the feature race. Aiden, on his debut, gets his first ever podium in just his first race. So well done to the Carlin driver. Taylor Klein finishes on the podium once again ahead of Ferrari Nut, who gets another P4. Gary and Shamrock finish 5th and 6th ahead of Luciano. Then comes Wilka, Sad, Wizard, Valkyrie rounding off the top 10 with Days Freak in P11. And unfortunately, no points.
I want to congratulate, of course, Wilka's Ghost for getting the converted pole position. Congratulations to him. Very impressive drive. I think he's playing the strategy game. He wants to win that sprint. And it's raining!
Oh!
Yay!
There we go. There's some more action to go into this race. We now have rain. It's only slight rain, but F2 cars, they do not have intermediates. They have wets, so I suspect that they may be on the wets.
Oh,
and
that's
yes, they
painful.
are.
Well, now I feel bad for telling Valkyrie not to pit and take that fastest lap. Seems like the tires aren't going to matter. The Sad Wizard has returned, thankfully.
Yes, he has. So going through the grid now after the results of the feature race. Like you said, Wilka's AI taking pole position here, but it's only AI, so I'm not sure if you would 100% count that, but ideally it is Wilka on pole ahead of Luciano, who didn't have the best of times, is now running in P2. He could be a potential fighter for the win, but so could Shamrock and Gary, the two Tridents lining up in P3 and P4. But they're gonna be careful because the four behind them, Ferrari Nut, Taylor, Aiden, and your championship leader, Port, who basically dominated the Grand Prix, so he's no doubt gonna try and make his way up the order. Sad Wizard is in P9, and Valkyrie in P10. Days Freak in P11. Remember, the top 8 were only reversed and not the entire grid.
Yeah.
But 14 laps. And in the wet, no doubt. This is going to be interesting.
What a first race to show what Aiden can do. He just had a dry race at Canada, finished a very impressive P4. No, sorry. Was he P4 or P2? I'm P2. I apologize. Look at me go. But now we get to see his wet racing skills. And the thing I want to mention about 5th through 8th, the top 4 for the final race, we're going to be watching them for the first couple laps, of course, because they're the top of the top for F2, but because we got to see how they get through everyone. Wets is going to make it very tricky not to accidentally lock up and hit the car in front of you just going into turn 1, let alone all the other turns for these first couple of laps. We got to see who doesn't get wing damage, who takes it easy, who makes mistakes. I can't wait. It's going to be so fun, my first wet race. Wait.
Yeah, it's my first wet race as well, so I could definitely agree with you on that one. It's going to be very
bonding
interesting
experience
as to how... Basically, yeah. It's like a bonding experience. But yeah, it's going to be interesting how P5 and P8 down are going to really mitigate this, especially Ferrari Nut. Remember, he was leading around 8 laps possibly of the feature race. So we'll see if he can get ahead of the 4 drivers in front of him and take the lead. But he also has his teammate to contend with, Luciano, who's shown some pace. But we'll have to see. 14 laps ahead of us, and now we are getting ready for the grid. There it is, the 5 red lights. It will not be waiting longer than it was in the feature race. Lights out, and away we go. Bit of a long wait for everyone, but so far everyone kind of keeping it easy for now.
Ooh, someone did not go.
Luciano.
Sad wizard.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He hasn't, so he has stalled, or possibly, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But Luciano, Drunken Shamrock, already getting ahead of Wilka, and now they are 1 and 2. Gary now up into P3 in the Trident, and Ferrari Nut, he's now gone. He's gone through Wilka. Is he going to try and go for a move already on Gary? Yes, he does in the inside. Gary getting a little bit squirrely, though, dives it right back. Does he get the move done? No, he doesn't. They're going wheel to wheel. Port looking a little bit interested. So is Taylor. Remember, the 2 United Virtuosi drivers, they're battling for the championship. Ferrari Nut has got ahead of Gary, and now has moved up into
Sad
P3.
Wizard has driven forward. Oh, he's driving again now. He's going back on track. I'm very confused on what's going on with him. I don't like how he's driving close to the track. I won't lie to you. He was on the left, and now he's on the right. Luckily, I believe the lap cars are invisible.
Oh. Hang on a minute. Something's going on a little bit with the display. I'm not entirely sure what's happening. Sad Wizard, yep, has been disqualified. I think
he was sitting right next to the track.
There we go. So all the issues have been sorted now, so I'm not sure what was going on there, but we're back and back to norm. Oh,
I think that was Luciano.
It could have been. He doesn't have visual damage. We'll see if he does have performance damage, but he leads the Grand Prix ahead of Shamrock, and then comes Ferrari Nut. It's a high-tech 1-3 for the time being. Port now getting ahead of Gary and up into P4,
so
and Taylor going around the outside of Gary. Does he get the move done? He does look like he has the better
traction. Let him go, Gary. Or not.
He's probably going to want to fight it, though. He does indeed fight it. Taylor has the inside here, though. Does he get the move? Yes, he does. And Valkyrie's actually... Got a little bit squirrely there. The camp loss. Taylor, no doubt, going to dive it right back. Trying to go around the outside. Very, very close, but gets the move done. Back up into P6. That was really close between Gary
Valkyrie
and
is
Taylor.
very loose. He'll get passed again. This is terrifying. Yep. I apologize. I thought that was going to be
terrifying,
a huge wreck.
But that's just how racing is. Aiden now up into P7. Valkyrie already getting a 3-second time penalty. Even in the wet, you can still get plenty of time penalties. We'll see how that plays out. But Aiden's now up to P7. Taylor's up into P6.
Contact.
Oh, Port has got on the inside of Ferrari Nut, and now is up into P3. So already jumping the high tech. It looks like Port has a lot of pace. Yeah.
That was nice. And Drunken Shamrock is doing his best to try to catch up to Luciano and pass him before the man, the myth, the legend, Unsighted Port comes up because, well, he's got Ferrari Nut on him, actually. Oh! Big crash in the back. That was Valkyrie. He hit the wall of champions and collected the AI of
There's
Wilka.
a lot of debris. Yeah, I see that now. Valkyrie doesn't have a front wing. There's no doubt probably going to have to box and is being overtaken by Wilka's AI. So a lot of debris on the final chicane.
Very high in the air. I'm surprised he didn't DNF right there.
Aiden now has a 3-second time penalty. That's not going to help him in his race, as he is the second person to get time penalties. But right now, top 2, 3.4 seconds ahead of Port for the time being. And it seems like these two are kind of comfortable right now, but Port is gaining. It isn't much, but it's still definitely something. And Aiden, I was just talking about him earlier, he's now ahead of Taylor.
Taylor Clan must be very frustrated after that. He was trying to get by Gary, and Aiden ended up getting by him instead as Gary was defending.
Hang on, there's a position change. Drunken Shamrock has now all of a sudden taken the lead of the Grand Prix. I'm not sure if Luciano made a mistake or something, but now Shamrock is up into P1 leading this Grand Prix. They're going to have to be really careful, though.
Aiden on Gary.
Because, as mentioned, Oh. Oh, yeah, there is. Aiden trying to go around the outside of the battle chicane. He cuts the corner and backs out on it and will lose position to Taylor. So that's not going well for the
And here goes
driver.
Taylor.
Taylor now trying to go on the inside of the Trident driver. I think there's a little bit of contact there, though. Gary goes really wide. Taylor almost makes contact with him. He's now going to try and go around the outside of turn 2. That's going to move Dundee. He has a lot of traction, but it's really squirrely there. They're still going wheel to wheel. Gary now has the inside. Taylor has the inside now. And Gary's actually managed to keep it. Aiden's now looking a little interested. Going to try and go around the outside of the, there. Does he get it done? He now has the inside. He's going to have to be careful not to hit Gary. They're still going wheel to wheel, these two. Aiden, though, having a lot of traction out of the corner. Oh, there's wheel bang, and Gary spun it. Gary has spun it, managed to keep it, but he hit the wall. He might have damage, but that promotes Aiden now up into P5 and Taylor up into P6.
That was terrifying. And they were racing way too hard, I think. A lot of moments there that could have ended all 3 of their races. But I guess 5th is a hell of a position.
Yes, it is, and Aiden at the moment has that position for the time being. But Aiden, Aiden is still under pressure from the virtuosi of Taylor. He's looking interested right now. Taylor looking like he has a lot of pace. Oh, Aiden cuts the corner.
Ooh.
That's lost him position. He might have locked up, but that has lost him 2 positions down into P7. Taylor is now up into P5.
Oh, Valkyrie sped.
Valkyrie
I was going to mention he had not pit for that previous wing damage. He had stayed out, I believe, 3 laps before he finally pits now. Sadly, gets a speeding penalty, though.
Bit of an interesting call, doing the same thing as Ferrari Nut did, and obviously that is not paying off. Oh, that's interesting. The arrest has been enabled.
Whoa, wait. Actually, yeah, I haven't seen much rain.
Yeah, now you look at it. It's not raining. Yeah. So that has made things very interesting.
What tire did
and that's going to allow
Valkyrie
Luciano to try and pressurize
Is he on the drive?
Trident.
He still has wing damage. I am confused. Is that just me? He might have had no wing repair on to make sure he didn't get one for maybe like a little bump. And that might have bit him.
I'm not entirely sure. I'll try and have a look at that. And there was a bit of a position change. Aiden is now up into P6 ahead of Gary. So despite that mistake, oh, he goes really deep at the hairpin. Gary's going to come back at the Carlin. The Carlin does have the traction and stays ahead. And if we look over back to Valkyrie, yeah, you're right. He doesn't have a
front wing. Oh my gosh. Both of them getting penalties. I thought they went wide. Yeah, both Luciano, I apologize, both Luciano and Drunken Shamrock went into the pits, surprisingly, for soft tires. They're going on the dries, but both of them overshot it by a mile. I thought they had locked up and were both going wide because they were side by side. With unsighted port right
Taylor
behind them.
as well. Yeah, Taylor has pitted as well. Luciano, though, he's going on the super
Could this
softs,
hurt unsighted?
So is Aiden.
So
that's interesting.
He just got the fastest sector 1 on those wets. That's what unsighted just got. So I don't know. I don't think it's dry enough.
We'll have to see. We'll just have to watch the gap between Port and Shamrock for the time being. It is going down. Actually, it's going down a lot. So maybe it is time for dries. Now Shamrock is gaining a lot of time on the Uni Virtuosi of Port, and Port is no doubt going to get undercut by the Trident driver. He has to pit this lap if he wants anything.
Sector 2 for unsighted.
He may be setting purple sectors, but watch out, because if we look over at Shamrock, will he get a purple sector 2? He's gaining quite a lot of time on the Virtuosi driver. He's going to cross the sector 2 split now. There it is, purple sector 2. Support. He's going to have to pit this lap. And yes, he does.
Well, Ferrari Nut.
Pits,
oh my gosh, they're all speeding. Oh, don't do it, Ferrari Nut. Thank you.
Ferrari Nut doesn't, and yeah, he doesn't do it compared to Port, and they both pit. Well, tire will they go on though? Port
Taylor
has
got
gone on
past
to
Luciano.
softs. Yes, he has. So Taylor now up into P4. What does Ferrari Nut go on? Ferrari Nut, he goes on the softs as well. So both Luciano and Aiden, interestingly opting to go onto the super softs. We'll see if that pays off for them or not. But as of now, Shamrock leads the Grand Prix 4 seconds ahead of Port
And
right now.
look at the gap between Unsighted Port and Taylor Clan. That's currently
I just want to know
within.
something. I saw Aiden went into the pits. He has to change his front wing. So something happened to the Carlin driver.
And he put on another pair of softs.
He was on the super softs earlier. He's
that
now
would
going
be
on to the
his
softs.
used race softs, though, would it not?
No, it is not. They have. It says it has 0 laps on them, so they are a brand new set of softs. And he's just gonna want to try and just give it everything. Really, see if he can maybe try and challenge Days Freak and get himself back up into the points. But yeah. Oh, there's
he's gone.
Oh yeah. Yes, he is.
Safety
then
car.
That's a safety car.
That can make or break it. If I were any of the drivers who had that 5-second penalty, I may want to get rid of it. This may be your chance.
Does that? No, he doesn't.
Drunken Shamrock. Ooh, I think that was a mistake. Let's see. Port does not either. Wow.
Oh, what? Whoa! 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 Whoa!
What did how'd Shamrock get into the pits?
I think he might have turned left after the final chicane, so I'm not entirely that.
That is interesting.
I didn't see that.
Well,
that's not gone well for him. But he is into the pits, and he bolts on the super softs, but he gets rid of that 5-second time penalty. But that could possibly go to the stewards and see what happens there.
Interesting.
But now, yeah, that is interesting. But now, Port now leads
Taylor's
ahead of
second.
Taylor. Port has that 5-second time penalty. Let's not forget, though. So Taylor is provisionally leading this Grand Prix. But now they are all going to bunch up behind the beautiful Aston Martin safety car.
You're only saying that because you used to drive for him.
No.
Ferrari. The Ferrari one looks beautiful. Come on.
It's a Mercedes, not a Ferrari.
With the one they used to have.
They always had a Mercedes safety car, I believe.
For the entirety of F1?
I think so. Whenever it was introduced, I'm not entirely sure. Someone will fact check me on that, or I'll fact check myself. But yeah,
you're making me
as of now,
double
it is
guess
the
myself.
Aston Martin. Yeah,
I'm gonna look this up.
The Aston Martin safety car, and all 9 drivers are gonna bunch up. I don't think anybody was lapped. By the looks of it, no, they haven't. So Gary's gonna be the last one to bunch up. He is on the other side of the track, though, so it's gonna be a little while. But yeah, everyone's gonna bunch up. I suspect we would get maybe 4 laps, maybe 3 of racing. We'll have to see, but it's basically going to be a sprint to the finish. I think the one to really watch out of all this could be Shamrock, because he is on those super softs. He's going to be absolutely flying compared to everyone.
Believe you are right. I looked up. I see a Ferrari safety car for other sports though, so I'm gonna count that because I want to. But I believe you are right. I believe it is only a Mercedes. Fun fact, even though I bet a lot of people watching know that, and we're just looking very stupid, that's okay. That's what we're here to do. And so, I mean, right now Taylor Clan is obviously the happiest person in the world. 5 seconds, unsighted port. He's probably not too happy about the person in 3rd or 4th because those aren't people who can take away that position. He probably wants unsighted port to fall completely off the podium to help him out in the points. But right now, with who's 3rd and 4th, it's not looking like that's going to be the case.
We shall see, but we'll also have to watch out for possibly Shamrock, see if he can do anything, as well as Ferrari Nut. Ferrari Nut, remember, he qualified P2 and was running in the lead in the feature race. We'll see if he could do anything currently in P6, but he's no doubt going to want to try and climb up the order. But what Port really has to do in this is back everyone up and just, well, I mean, I would say back everybody up, but he also has that 5 seconds, so he's going to want to extend that as well, and that's most likely going to be difficult, not only because of the condition of the track, but also considering the fact that he is on softs and not the super softs compared to Shamrock and Ferrari Nut. We'll have to see how that goes on, but But yeah, Taylor, he's in the box seat.
And you were correct. He's going to have 4 laps to bring this gap up to 5 seconds with both Taylor Clan, Ferrari Nut, Shamrock, maybe even Gary, though. You gotta see what happened. I do sadly have to skip Luciano and Aiden 11 seconds. And I don't think they're gonna take the lead and pull that much of a gap, but of course, who knows? Going into turn 1, maybe a little teammate contact. Who knows? It's weird. They don't even look like teammates. Their cars are completely different.
Yep, because the car that Port is driving is Callum Ilot's car, and since he's part of the Ferrari Driver Academy, I guess they decided to change it to red. And then obviously Taylor, being in Guan Yu Zhou's car, he was part of Renault back in 2020, which switched to Alpine, but ideally was yellow, so he's in a yellow car. But they are teammates. And just looking over at the chat, Incan Raptor, you know you're young when you say F1. I've always said Mercedes says safety car. Hey, man.
See, so I'm right. Here we go.
I don't look that far back, okay? But yeah,
I knew they couldn't have
anyways.
had that all the time.
I mean, you never know. Maybe they could have, but
And here the safety
I
car
guess I'm
going
wrong.
forward. And wow, Dave's Freak is nowhere near the pack. 17 seconds off from when I said it.
But,
Interesting.
yep, but now Port is gonna be the one to decide when they are gonna start. He knows where the checker flag starts, so he knows exactly when to go, how late he can go, or how early he can go. We'll have to see. But right now, he isn't going for the time being, trying to bunch everybody up, see if anyone can get possible 5 second to go along with them. But he's already gone, so no, he doesn't. And now the race is resumed. Port ahead of Taylor and Luciano Wilka in P4 so far. Everybody just kind of keeping it calm for the time being. Watch out for Shamrock, though. He's basically inside of Wilka right now, trying to go for P4 already. But he's not able to make the move just yet. Ferrari Neck is a 3-second time penalty, so that's not going to help the high-tech driver, and he most likely will not get a podium. Shamrock is now up into P4 due to the trees. I could not see the overtake, but he is now up into P4. But the top 3 have already pulled 9/10 to him. We'll see if Shamrock can possibly close that up.
Alright, that moves up to P5. And so far, so good, but Luciano is not leaving Taylor Clan's sight, and that could possibly hurt him if Luciano decides to start battling.
We shall see, as he is on those super softs, but he is within the dirty air. Although the dirty air isn't as significant as it is in F1, there is still a bit of dirty air in these cars. But so far, Luciano is still staying right on the back of the UNI Virtuosi driver of Taylor. Taylor needs to do something here if he wants to take back the lead of the championship. He wants Port to DNF, if anything. He wants Port to DNF and him to finish on the podium if he wants to take back the lead. But speaking of Port, he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and now adds 2 more points to his 15. So far, Port having a stellar Grand Prix, but he has that 5-second. Taylor
making a move on Drunken.
Yes, he is trying to try and go down the inside of turn 4. Actually, Drunken Shamrock breaks really late, but Ferrari gets the switchback of dreams and moves himself up into P4 and is going to try and chase after his teammate and then the UNI Virtuosi pair. But yeah, that was a good move from Ferrari.
Here comes
now he's gonna get
Aiden on Gary.
You're right, Aiden gonna try and make a move on Gary. Doesn't quite make it stick though. Gary, speaking of him, he gets a 3-second time penalty. Gets a loose in the exit as well. That's gonna allow Aiden to sneak up on the inside at the hairpin. Now going around the outside. Does he get the move done? No, he doesn't. He's gonna possibly try and go for a switchback. Yes, he does. He gets decent traction, but it's just not enough to contend with Gary. He's just tuck in for the slipstream. Does he have enough slipstream to make a move? He's looking. Oh, he's on the inside now of the final chicane. Gary's no doubt gonna have to leave the space, and indeed he does. So now Aiden is up into P6, but on side of Port sets a fast lap of the Grand Prix again, but he's just not gaining enough.
Luciano, I apologize again, but Luciano has 14 seconds of time penalties, and after quickly going through in my head, he could finish dead last, 9th currently. That's just how much amount of penalties. Same for Aiden. That is big.
Yes, it is. So he wants Taylor to basically crash at this point if he wants anything out of this.
Taylor wants him to stay right there. Look at that. He'll fall all the way to 5th currently. A lot of 1 seconds.
So Taylor Clan is still gaining points on Port at the for the time being. But despite Port having that fastest lap, but he's just going to have to stay within the 8 seconds. And ideally, he does not want to fight too much to Luciano, because Luciano is still challenging Taylor for the time being. He has the DRS. He has the slipstream. Is he going to try and make a move at the final chicane? He's on the gearbox, but he doesn't do it quite yet. He'll have the DRS again, though, since there's 2 DRS straights after the there's a DRS straight after the chicane. But it's just not going to be enough, and he will slot it into P3 for the time being. Aiden sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix and now has gotten himself ahead of Shamrock, but he has 11 seconds, so it's not going to help him. But Shamrock fighting it back a little bit, though. But Aiden just managing to stay ahead and up into P5 on track, that is. But we are on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Port with a 1.8 second lead. It's not going to be enough. He wants Taylor Clan, Luciano, and technically Ferrari Nut to basically tangle if he wants to get a win or a podium. Right now, that is very much looking like an uncertainty. And, well, Taylor looks like he has a set in the bag.
Yeah, right now, Onside Port is actually looking at P2 as, Aiden is out. That's not good. That was one of the drivers who could take points away. But right now, the way it's looking, Onside Port is going to get 2nd, actually, unless Ferrari Nut can pick up a lot more time, actually. Oh, wait, yeah, never mind. He did pick up a lot more time. It's going to be close.
He's trying everything he can, but it's just not going to be enough. He rounds the final chicane, and he is going to come across the line to finish P1 on track. But it's going to be Taylor who takes the win in the feature race. Ferrari Nut gets P2, so despite the penalty that he had, he's at the P2. But Shamrock! Shamrock has suddenly jumped up to, I think,
2nd.
That could be his first ever podium, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is.
Yes.
That is Shamrock's first ever podium, and he did it due to not having a penalty. Wow, that's a surprise.
Well, that was a very interesting finish. That is going to make Taylor Clan happy. Hopefully. Who knows? He was not very happy the last interview. So hopefully that pleases him, but I don't know. I think he would have wanted it to be way closer in the feature race. Missing out on that. Just missing out on that feature race win, but he's got the sprint race win and did exactly what he needed to, and he's happy on that podium because he doesn't see his teammate there.
Yeah, that is crucial. Port not being on the podium there, but he's on the podium. He's on the top step of the podium. And Shamrock and Ferrari Nut join him on the podium. Ferrari Nut only having 3 seconds, but Shamrock really being the big surprise, not having a single penalty and managing to jump up the order to P2. So very, very well done to the Trident driver who bags his first podium in, I think, his 4th race. But yeah, that is going to be your finishing order. Taylor Clan finishes ahead of Shamrock, 4.5 between the two, and he's gained 5 points on Port. Speaking of Port, he actually tied with Ferrari Nut due to having that fastest lap. So Taylor doesn't gain as much as he hoped he would. But yeah, that is your results here. I'll try and get everyone in for interviews if I can. Hang on. A little bit scuffed.
Well, it's going to be quite difficult trying to do that, so it is, of course, understandable. But that was a great ending to this race, a very interesting ending, seeing so many penalties that got so many drivers, great finishes, amazing finish for Jack and Shamrock, and a good finish for Ferrari not getting that P3. He needed that.
Yes, he is. I'm still trying to get everyone in here. Is a little bit rushed as it didn't exactly work on the main menu, but I'm trying as much as I can to get everyone in here. And we actually have 5 people to interview due to the fact that there were five different people who finished on the podium.
Overtime.
So
Let's hope all 5 show up, though.
yes, indeed. I'm trying my hardest to get everyone in. There we go. That should be all 5 drivers invited now. So hopefully they will join us for interviews. We'll just have to wait a little bit. But all I really need to say is that was quite an interesting spectacle.
It was quite interesting. Hopefully we can get everyone in here.
Yep. Just being a little bit patient here. There we go. So there is port for us. I'm not. I'm not. I think that might be just everyone for the time being. So I guess we will start off here with who finished, I believe, P2 in the feature race, but unfortunately a DNF in the sprint race, but still a podium in his debut race. Ron, you can go ahead and take that one, as we are going to go over to MRA Aiden.
Yeah, it is me, Ronnie. And Aiden, you had a pretty fantastic feature race for your debut. It was very amazing to watch you. And you had your hands full for your debut. You had a nice dry feature race where you got a very impressive P2, and then a wet sprint race where sadly you, I believe, wrecked on the final lap in turn 8. Tell me, how was your first weekend in this BRL F2 series?
It was great. I had a lot of battles with Gary and just everyone, but penalties kind of screwed me over, and yeah, I just wasn't expecting the rain. I didn't practice for it. I didn't practice too much, but definitely not at all for the rain. So that was a little bit of a surprise, and yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, sadly, rain could be a heck of a thing to have to drive through, but it was a very impressive debut, and I hope to see you again next weekend, and hopefully see another impressive drive from you.
Oh yeah, thanks. I'll try to make it.
All right, on to you, Miniko.
All right, thank you very much, Ron. We shall now move on to who finished. I think he might have finished on the podium in the feature race. I don't exactly remember, but he finished P1 in the sprint race for sure, thanks to time penalties. We'll see if that stands, though, due to the fact that the 5 seconds may be removed. We'll have to wait and see, but we shall go on now to Taylor Clan. So, there wasn't really much to say about the feature race. You kind of had your hands full, but you still managed to grab a decent haul of points. But the feature race was, the sprint race is where you really stood out in that, managing to just get the podium, and, not the podium, the win. And, well, I guess the rain made it a little bit interesting, but how do you feel about that Grand Prix?
Man, feature race, I just don't want to talk about it. I ended up with wing damage by the exit of turn 4 on lap 1, so from there it was just survive, which I ended up getting more wing damage, so it did not help. Still finished P3, so happy about that. And then the wet sprint race, I don't have time to practice, so I was just winging it on the formation lap, to which I reset my wheel and unpause, and it puts me hard left. So that was fun on the formation lap. And then, yeah, just kept it clean. I think I was on 2. I may have been lucky. I think I also got 3 warnings, but it didn't give me a penalty. So, oh well. Kept
Close
no
call, but
penalties.
you still managed to get the win, so, you definitely can't be disappointed by that. You did lose a bit of ground to your teammate who takes back the championship lead, but it was really, if you think about it, it was pretty much damage limitation, and you did that quite nicely. But now we shall move on to your teammate. And, Ron, do you want to take this one?
Sure, I'll take it. All right, Unsighted Port, you had an amazing weekend. It was clear that you might have been, I'd have to say you were the top dog out there. Both fastest laps for the race. Sadly, not a podium in the sprint race, but winning the feature race outright. How was your weekend here at Canada, and how did you like the track, actually? I wanted to ask him as well, but this is a track that's not well known for drivers liking it, so how was your weekend, and did you like it?
Yeah, so I do kind of hate this place. It is very not enjoyable to drive. Um, yeah, feature race, that was nice. I got pole, so I knew I just wanted to keep clean air. Ferrari not got in front of me. I was able to get back in front of him, and then he kind of hit the wall. So that was the feature race. It pretty much done. Sprint race. I wish it was raining that whole time because I had mega pace in the wet. The staying out the extra lap, it was all right. I probably could have pit the lap before, but I didn't feel like it. Um, yeah, I absolutely hate the penalty system in this game, both for pit limiter and these track
Yeah.
limits. And yeah, should have had a clean sweep, but here we are.
I was going to ask about that, especially for the sprint race. You and a lot of other drivers, I believe if I remember the total was 5, maybe 4, went into that pit lane and got a speeding penalty. So I was going to ask, how did you feel? Did you think you should have done what I believe Junkin Shamrock did and pitted to remove that, as it ended up actually getting him second? I believe that was the driver who pitted and removed it, but and just
Yeah,
let
well,
you know, for
about
your
him,
sake, we might have caught him going into the pit lane,
yeah,
not
yeah,
in the pit
that
road.
was that's getting reported. You can't do that.
So
Nah,
maybe a podium finish
yeah,
for you as well. I believe
yeah,
you were
that
fourth,
should be
correct?
a podium. Yeah, I was fourth by like a second or so. So smack that 5 seconds back on him. That was not okay. Uh, yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
there was a chance I may not have caught that on stream, which was super unfortunate.
I
Well,
got it.
I'll go clip it.
I got it.
Well, there you have it. I guess Port is already gonna report something on that. But I'm not sure really what to say, to be honest, considering what happened. But I guess you could say the one thing you could say is that considering the amount of time penalties that really came into this Grand Prix, the amount that everyone had, not only in the sprint race but mainly the feature race, because everyone had either three, like I think over like 6 seconds or more. So considering how that is an F2, could you consider that maybe in the later tiers going on later on in this week? Do you think that could be the same thing or even worse? Questions for anybody, so whoever wants to take it, go ahead.
I'll take
What
it, I
was the
guess.
question?
Come on, boys.
Yeah.
The question was, is considering the amount of time penalties that went on, do you think that'll be basically either a repeat or will it be a worst case in the later tiers?
Oh, there's
I
gonna
think
be
it's
at
gonna
least
be
5
worse.
DSQs.
Oh, whoa, calm down,
Oh
one
yeah,
at a
yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah, no. Okay, okay.
I'm first.
The
I'm better.
F2 cars are small, so that they're not as hard. It's harder to like go and cut the track with them because they're just smaller and like the chicane and stuff. Those F1 cars are way too fat. You will see people getting ridiculous amounts of penalties because this game is
That's not a
broken.
good sign.
Yeah, we shall find out how that goes on. Braun, do you have any other comments to add?
Oh no, you pretty much answered everything I wanted to know. I do want to congratulate both of you. It's been fun these past 2 races watching. Well, this is my first time watching you inside Port, but watching you guys with your championship fight, and I'm looking forward to many more races. It's been very fun.
Yeah, and congratulations also to Shamrock and as well as Ferrari Nut, who did get podiums, but we'll have to wait and see if that will change in the near future, as steward incidents could be a factor. But that is going to be everything from Ron and I here tonight, but be sure to tune in tomorrow for Realistic Tier, 8 p.m. EST, where we will have all the cars in realistic performance and we'll see, can Red Bull possibly get a 1-2?
No.
Can Mercedes possibly
Talking
up
about
their game?
themselves.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Plug, dude, that's a
Hey, hey, hey!
self-plug.
I did not say who. Don't even.
You know what you were implying.
So
I'm
let's say
see an Alpha
McLaren.
1-2.
I'm just
An
stating.
Alpha
I think you meant
1-2. Come on.
McLaren 1-2.
I'm not confirming anything. I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
McLaren
You
one
meant
too, dog.
McLaren
McLaren
one, too.
Alfa
You
Romeo
and I have your choice,
1-2.
either
Watch it
McLaren.
happen. Watch it
Yeah.
happen.
But yeah, we shall see. Can McLaren be a possible surprise, or maybe even more? And again, with those time penalties, how crucial will that be in that Grand Prix? But from Ron and I, that is going to be everything here tonight.